be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Way of the Warrior.
It is Way of the Warrior. Eric O'Brien along with Ken Evans, Sean Dezay out this week. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Just search Wow Show. Show is brought to you by Gun Lake Casino and Onnit supplements. You can find them online, onnit.com/Wow Show. The big fight this weekend on Fox. Of course, Gilbert Melendez and Benson Henderson, a super fight to unify the Strikeforce title and the UFC lightweight title. And now we get to talk to one of the contenders in the co-main event between Frank Mir and Daniel Cormier. Joining us right now, Daniel Cormier. Daniel, how are you?
Hey, Eric. What's going on, man?
I am awesome. How are you, my friend? Welcome back.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm pretty good.
This is, I know you're frustrated that this has kind of taken as long as it has, and you've had 3 camps against Frank Mir, and we'll talk about that. But for me, Daniel, this seems like the way to introduce you to the UFC audience.
I think that I'm fighting for the smartest organization in the world, and they know the biggest stage to say, hey, this is Daniel Cormier, is to throw him on Fox, where it's free, and casual fans, anybody can see it, so it's the best way to do it. It's free. It's not pay-per-view,
Well, and I think a lot of people who haven't been following the sport, let's say as a super fan, following Strikeforce and Cage Rage and all of that stuff, and just follow the UFC, and maybe they do it casually, aren't really aware. They see that you're undefeated, but they're not really aware of how much your career has scaled. I mean, you walked into that gym, your words, in 2008-ish, knowing no jiu-jitsu.
Nothing. I knew nothing.
And
I walked in there in September 2009, and I knew nothing. I knew no stand-up. I knew no jiu-jitsu. I just went to work, man. I was an empty canvas, and Javier, Bob, and the rest of those guys, they just went to work on it.
And it's just an amazing story. I've always loved watching you fight. I don't understand, and I really don't want to spend a lot of time talking about why Frank Mir doesn't really respect you, because I don't understand if he doesn't have access to the UFC database to see who you fought and then see that you actually have finished fights. I don't want to talk about that stuff because I just think your story is amazing. And when I see you do these interviews on Fox, and anybody who has not watched your Fightland episode needs to do that, because those dudes do such a sick job at those videos, and yours is amazing. I just would love to, give you the chance to just talk to people who may not be exposed to how awesome an athlete and a person that you really are.
Yeah, man, watch Fightland. It came out pretty good.
Man.
What was the weirdest thing? It said, it was funny because at the end of the video, I go, we're educated men, we're not crazy people, and then I just get the craziest look on my face of all time. I'm like, this dude's insane. What am I talking about? I am crazy. But they did a good job, man. All these videos and all these things now that are coming out, after you watch them, it's me. You see me joking around in the gym, playing around with my friends. You watch the Fox special. I spend time with my kids and my family. All that stuff is me. I enjoy having a good time, man. I enjoy kind of letting loose, and I'm able to do that, and I've been able to do it on camera so that I can kind of relate a little more to the fans, watch it, get an idea of who I am, and hopefully you think I'm an okay guy.
Well, and I watch these, Daniel, and I see a guy, coming off of Tough 17 and what an amazing coach Chael was. I see a guy in you that I would, super excited to see you in the UFC, would love to see you coach on that show. Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
Oh, man, I would love to coach The Ultimate Fighter. I think it would, I think, it would just take the right guy to coach with me. Obviously I don't have the name recognition now to carry a show like that because I haven't fought in the UFC. But give me a year. Hopefully people will know who I am to the point that they'd be willing to watch me on The Ultimate Fighter. I would love to coach and try and help out.
It would just be
my first love is coaching.
And
I still coach the guys here.
Yeah, and you can tell that, like, in the videos that they've been showing and following your career, you can tell that you still got this passion for coaching and, even what you've done for Kane. And I think for all the people that talk about teammates fighting teammates, you two have the most compelling reason for that not to happen. And I have the ultimate respect for that. A lot of people don't have the connection that you guys have and the reason why you two probably should never face each other in the octagon.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you understand. It's just we have a very different situation, coach, athlete, friend. He's helped me a ton as much as I've helped him. So it's just hard, man. But, he's one of my better friends. He's a great guy. And I don't want to hurt that man as he feels the same. So, I think the most telling thing was when I was doing a post-fight show after he won his belt, and they asked him about it, and he kind of like both of us kind of almost got choked up. Like we don't want to fight each other, and it's really not that confusing as to why.
Absolutely. This Saturday night, though, the co-main event, you're taking on Frank Mir. He welcomes you to the UFC. He says he's changed training camps, and obviously he has changed training camps, but has made him the first time ever in shape Frank Mir. Is that at all a concern to you?
Not really. I mean, I know that he's going to be in better shape than he normally is, and he's going to be prepared. Listen, I have a lot of respect for Greg Jackson as a coach, Mike Winklejohn. I think they're great coaches, and I'm saying this from a coach standpoint more than just an athlete. I recognize a good coach, and I know that those guys do a great job. But Frank Mir will be Frank Mir right now. He spent 6-7 weeks there, and you don't see the influence on a guy in one training camp. It'll take a little more time. And next fight, you may see Frank Mir as a Jackson-trained fighter. This one, there'll be some differences, but I think it'll be physical differences. Like he'll be in a little better shape. His cardio will be better. But in terms of game planning and fighting like some of those guys fight over there, it'll take a little more time.
All right, Saturday night on Fox. I know you got a million of these to do, so I'll let you bounce. But as always, an honor to have you on the show. I look forward to seeing the fight on Saturday night, having you back on and talking about your win and where you're going next. Daniel Cormier, you can find him on Twitter, DC_MMA. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you in the octagon on Saturday.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for having me again.
Take care.
Later, bro.